Hello, how are you? Welcome to Satire Lunar. In this video I'm going to talk about one of the most famous deities in China and Taoism, Chang-O. Differently from many other goddesses and gods, which represents natural aspects or even planets and the moon and sun, Chang-E is considered to be a moon goddess, but she doesn't represent the moon. She lives on the moon. She's an immortal woman who, through a tragic story, ends up living there. Her story has some different versions, but the end is always the same, as I used to say. And the most important, or the most well-known one, is that she used to be a maiden working for the Jade Emperor's palace. And one day she was cleaning things, and she dropped a vase, and this vase broke. So the Jade Emperor got very furious with this, and then he banished her for the palace. So she came to live here down on earth. And here she became a peasant and she worked daily in the fields, but no problem for her. When she turned 18 years old, she met Hou Yi and they became friends, very close friends. And okay, time went by. Then someday in the morning, the sun didn't rise properly. Instead of one sun, there were 10 suns. And this led people to get very worried because not only their lives were at risk, but the animals' lives and also the crops. So what could they do about 10 suns shining and burning things? Hou Yi appeared and he shot 9 of these suns with his arrows. And these 9 suns disappeared. So only one sun remained. That is normal. Everyone would expect that. So right after this, he became so popular that he became king, and he took Chang'e as his queen, as his wife. Now we have two versions for this story. In the first one, Hou Yi is rewarded with the elixir of immortality because of saving the world. And in the other one, he becomes a very bad king and he seeks the elixir of immortality himself because he wants to rule forever. In both ways, he gets the elixir of immortality. In one version, he keeps this elixir secretly safe in his palace. But then one day, a servant enters and he wants the elixir for himself. So Chang'e, for protecting the elixir, she takes the pill and she becomes immortal. Right after taking the pill, she starts floating and she floats towards the moon. Hou Yi sees her floating outside the window and he gets very sad because there is nothing he can do to bring her back. So to worship her or to get closer to her, every full moon he prepares some offerings and he leaves outside so she can see with her favorite food and drinks. In the other version, the one he's a bad king, Chang'e, she takes the elixir of immortality on purpose because she wants to be free from him. So the moment she takes, she starts floating and goes towards the moon. Hou Yi, very mad what's happening, he takes his bow and arrows and shoots Chang'e, hoping that she will drop her back on earth. But he fails, so she ends on the moon. In some versions, Chang'e becomes a toad with 3 palms, and in other versions, she retains her human form. Anyway, on the moon she meets a rabbit, her only companion, and this rabbit is the one who produces the elixir of immortality. When Chang'e ends up on the moon, she starts seeing the earth and she starts contemplating the earth. And not only this, she starts contemplating herself and she looks inside herself in search for more information. So she becomes a very wise woman. Back on Earth, Hou Yi misses Chang'e very much. So he decides to build a palace on the sun. So somehow he builds this palace and he goes to the sun. And this explains one of the origins of the yin and yang. The Moon Festival, or the Mid-Autumn Festival, is celebrated every year in China and in some other countries on the 15th day of the 80th lunar month. This for us is around September or October. And during this festival, they leave many offerings to Chang'e, and they ask her for long life, wisdom, and beauty. It's interesting to state that in 2007, China initiated its lunar exploration program, and the probes they sent to the moon were called Chang'e, Chang'e 1, 2, 3, 4. So we can see how popular Chang'e is for the Chinese people. And they even made a real analogy here. They sent something which is considered to be immortal to the moon, and there it stays, just like Chang'e went there. So I just hope we don't have the 10 suns burning someday. So as I said, until today, people worship Chang'e during the Mid-Autumn Festival. And you can do the same to connect with her, not only during the Mid-Autumn Festival, but during every full moon. You can leave her some offerings, and you can even make the moon cake. I'll leave a recipe here. It's not mine, but it seems to be very easy to make. I have already eaten a moon cake with azuki beans, which is more common in Japan, but the one they say here with lotus seed paste, I've never tried, but I imagine it's delicious too. So you can make these offerings and you can ask her for wisdom, a long life, and beauty. So this is Chang'e, the moon goddess in China. If you like this video, please give your thumbs up, subscribe to the channel, share it with your friends. Thank you very much, and see you. And if you're still here, why don't you stay a little bit longer on the channel? Here you can find a playlist with all the goddesses I have talked about. Here you can find a playlist with spells and studies I have talked about. And here you can subscribe to the channel for more. Thank you very much.